trying to get some extra sleep. Good morning. Hi, everyone. We got a couple in here. Hey, a comment. Who's here, peeps? We'll wait for a few more people to jump on and wait for me to find my question list too.
Sounds great.
I have a puppy, and it's like having a baby, and I totally am not getting any sleep. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like starting all over again with kids. It's insane. It's a Pomeranian. He's my little baby. I know. I'm super, super stoked to have him. All right, I'm gonna have to pull my questions up from here because I can't find them. Oh, and then I also have my little office cat. She likes to visit, so you guys might get a glimpse of her. Yeah. So, how are you doing today, Dana?
I'm doing well. Happy Friday.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I am so glad it's Friday. Praise the Lord. My child, I don't know. You have kids?
I have a stepson who's 17.
Okay. So you probably don't have to work too hard to get him out of the house for school or anything.
No.
Yeah. Well, I have one. Then I have to get up at 6:15 to get her out the door because she's actually in school. She goes to a small private school. And Lord, I'm exhausted. Okay. I have found my questions. All right. So, of course, the first one is going to be tell us about your business and what you do and how you serve the startup community.
Sure. So I help solopreneurs, independent business owners with brand strategy, website design, and whatever else might come up in the chaos of trying to figure out how to market a small business.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. And you've been doing that for how long?
About 3 years now.
Wow. Okay. On your own for 3 years, or?
3 years on my own, and I, like so many others, did it independently while I had a full-time job prior to that, and then made the leap about three and a half years.
Gotcha.
Those factors matter.
Yeah, I'm still working that full-time job myself. I'm like, and the puppy and the business. Yeah, it's fun.
That's a lot to navigate and juggle.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Hi, everybody. I see Kawana, Susanna, Nicolette, and a Facebook user. Who's my Facebook user who said hello? With StreamYard, and I think a lot of people may not know this. I think most of them do because their names are in here. But with StreamYard, you have to go in and give StreamYard access to your name information so that the people who are having the interview or doing the live can actually see the names of everyone. Otherwise, they show up just as Facebook user, and it's impossible to know who they are. But I think it's that allowing that access is only just for the purposes of the live. So, Chesade. Is that how you say that? Chesade? That's beautiful. Okay. All right. So, you do branding, website development, and all of that. You just decided, how did you even get into that to start with? I know you said you did some in corporate for a while, but how did you even get into that to begin with?
Yeah, my background is in marketing communications. So, working for bigger brands, trying to figure out what the mix of communications would be for companies like Johnson & Johnson and Pioneer and Belkin. And then later I joined a digital agency because I really love the web and the power of all the software and the tools that we can use to market our businesses and to create. And with websites now, there are online brochure. So I worked at a digital agency for several years, and it was a small company. So I got that kind of intermediate step between a big corporation and a small business. So that helped kind of give me that confidence to go out on my own because I worked with the founder directly and saw some of the pains and challenges of a small business, but then also the opportunities with it as well. So And then I just started having people asking me questions and hiring me on the side to help them in their businesses. And I realized, like marketing is so confusing anymore, and just having somebody that you can trust and that really works with what your business needs are, not just, hey, go do this because everybody's doing it, and adding to the noise, but really coming from a place of a more authentic voice and doing marketing that really makes sense for each individual business as opposed to doing all things to all people in marketing.
Okay. You started getting a little bit muffled there towards the end. I'm not sure why. Okay, so do you help with the branding message and all of that as well?
Yeah.
So you do the whole gamut. Do you have a offer of a program for how many days, or how does that work?
Sure. So I have a brand strategy package basically where we do a couple really in-depth discovery calls. They're about 2 90-minute sessions where we go deep into what is the inspiration behind your business, why you're in this business to begin with, what's your vision, what's your mission, what are your values, and then all the way through to how are you currently communicating, what would you like to be doing in the future with your brand, how do you want to position yourself in the marketing, and then I build out a roadmap for you of which tools you'll need at specific times within your business. So your website, how you can communicate in your social media channels, which social media channels, what other software you might need to help empower you and your brand. So it's helping to identify your brand position, your voice, and then also what technology you'll need in order to make that happen.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay. How many of you guys that are on here, I think we have 4 people on at the moment, not 5, have gone through the whole branding process of, going through everything basically that Dana was just talking about? I'd love to know. I did not hire anyone to do it. I think I've done okay. It took 2 months for it to start coming together and for me to start realizing what that image was and how it all fit together with what I want to do. And I'm thinking I'm finally getting there, but I'm curious as to how many people actually hire, because I imagine it would be wonderful to have somebody dig deep
Yeah.
and help you nail that down.
Especially because we have a tendency to look at what everybody else is doing, and then you get overwhelmed because you're like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing this right, or I'm not, but you kind of lose yourself in all of it. And also like the training that you have to learn. It's like how, you're using StreamYard and Facebook and groups, and like, is that where you want to spend your time? And is that great for you and your business? That's awesome. But for some other
Yeah,
people, it might not be where their clients are. So what
right.
is that? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Instagram? And how
Yeah, where do you find them?
yeah, and
Yeah,
making it also true to you. Where do you also want to feel comfortable communicating too? Because that makes a big difference.
right. Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. I'm like I said, 2 months in. It's taken me 2 months to kind of figure out where that is, and it's starting to get comfortable and feel good. Susanna said that she's had some of it done as a part of a barter deal. Yes, it is amazing when Pro facilitates you finding the best branding identity. Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine. Only imagine. Yeah, I would have gotten there a lot quicker, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I work with people that have been in business for a little bit because it takes time to figure out, where you want to play, what your offer is, so you just have to start
Yeah,
somewhere, and then once you really are feeling like, okay, I know I have a real, like, this is what I'm going to do, this is where I want to be, and I have some learning behind that, then you want to just kind of like propel it to the next level. That's where
right.
I think having that clear strategy, because you've tried a few things already. And so you have a little bit of a gauge of what's working and what's not working.
Is it possible to do it with someone like me, like from the start? Or is it this
No,
not?
it is, but I think that sometimes when you're just starting, it's okay, this is a logo, this is where I'm going to communicate, but like really getting to the heart of what your business is and having worked with a few clients and realizing what you really love about working with your clients and where you think you want to go further with that.
Yeah.
And I think having a few client experiences under your
Mhm.
belt. Whereas when I have a few people that I've worked with just out of the gates, and it takes a little bit longer because you're still trying to find who you are. You're still trying to learn a little bit more about, you're still learning yourself.
Uh-huh.
I work with a lot of coaches, so they're still training. They're still going through their certification classes, and I'm realizing that's too soon. Like they maybe have worked with a few clients before of a little clearer idea of,
Yeah.
their niche. Because
Yeah,
that
I could totally see that being necessary. There's no doubt. Yeah, what she's saying now is gold. Yeah, no doubt. Yes, because having worked through some of my material with a couple of people now, I'm like, I don't know that the initial plan was to have videos and to do some material, and I'm like, I don't think that's not who I am. I am a one-on-one, let's do this together right here, right now kind of girl. So, yeah, but you're right. I wouldn't have known that, you know, I wouldn't have known that without having started to go through it with someone. So,
exactly. And if you listen to a lot of coaches now, it's like build an online program, and like do
yeah,
all these online trainings. That's a lot of work and
yep.
it's a lot of
Oh, yeah.
effort. And until you've really worked directly with clients, like how do you even know what you really want to train on? Like even for me, I've
Yes.
been in business 3 years and I'm finally realizing I've made all of these documents and tools. Like I should just make a video for my clients. Like now I know, but it's taken me 3 years to kind of figure that out. And I
Yep.
think with time. And so once you get a little bit of experience under your belt, it helps.
Yeah, and you're right. The that I got that, develop your material, and I've spent probably a good solid month before I even really started trying to discover who I was and
Exactly.
who I wanted to be for my clients. And I was just working on my material, which don't granted, it's great and it's golden and it's awesome and I've got it. But it's I should have just jumped in.
Yeah.
And I've heard that a few times. Just jump in, figure it out, then figure out what you need. So that's a really, really, really. And if there's anybody listening here who's right there at the beginning, by all means, just jump in, just dive right in, and then figure it out as you go, because you can definitely be valuable to someone without tons of written material.
No, you don't need an online course. That's
No,
out of the gates. That's just
no,
overwhelming.
it
And it
is
just
very.
goes like 1, 2, 3 clients, learn what you again, like when I started my business, I was doing everything in marketing. And then I realized just because I know how to do a lot of these things doesn't mean that's where I want to spend my time with my clients
Right.
and really serve them. So, you start to niche down and that helps a lot too, becoming more clear on where you feel most
Yes,
rewarded in your work.
absolutely. Okay, what was your biggest challenge when you started your business? How did you overcome it?
I did everything
Yes.
and you just get lost.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Yeah,
I think, learning where to outsource has helped and where to get help where I needed help and coaching. Also, my pricing and my value, I would let people talk me down or I just didn't feel, because I was new, I was worth it.
right.
Um, so just pricing was, I think, the hardest thing. How much do you charge for your
Yeah. How long do you think it took you to work through all that?
a good year and a half?
Okay. So I've got a ways to go.
It might have taken
7
me.
ways. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, tips. We need tips from you. Pretty please.
Tips. All right. Well, I think the first, what you just touched on was like, where are you in all of this? Right. So, how do you figure out what your core position is in your business?
Mhm.
And I think that just even if it's making a list, why did you begin the business to start? Because I feel like every business begins with the inspired action behind it. Like, why am I doing this? Really, not just because I'm good at it, or, it's like to help people make money. There's usually something deeper than that. And so that's the first thing I would really look at and focus on for yourself and your business, because that always will be your centering point to come back to. The second tip is you don't have to do everything. Like, really pick one or two things that you really enjoy and foster those channels in terms of social media, or if you really like blogging, blog. If you really love video, record yourself, do videos. If you really love presentations, focus on that, because you're going to come across the most authentically when you're communicating in a means that feels most natural to you. So foster that. And then the
Yes.
third thing I would say is don't silo yourself. So sometimes in our business, we feel like I've got to put this hat on in this way for to serve my clients, and we kind of put a corporate hat on, or we put a different face on. But I think that sometimes we can silo ourselves in figuring out our niches. Like, if you love art on the side, but you're like, I can't be an artist in my business, I would say find a way to incorporate your art into your brand. Find a way to incorporate your puppy into your brand, things that you love, so that it's not all just separate. Like, work and life are not separate when you're
They're not.
your own boss. So
Yeah.
find ways to bring those things together, because it will help alleviate a lot for you in terms of juggling and wearing different hats.
Yeah, it's funny that you say incorporate your puppy. I've thought about that. I honestly have thought about that. Like, this can be my mascot. I think
Totally.
that'd be my mascot, but I've got to figure out how to make that, flow. But you're right. People want to work with real people.
Mm-hmm.
So you can share aspects of your life. It's like on Instagram, the little highlights. A lot of people have a highlight for their life. And I do on my Instagram, where I share just little tidbits here and there of what happens in my life besides just my promo material. Yeah, yeah, I may have to definitely incorporate my puppy. You just told me to incorporate my puppy.
I did.
His name is Journey.
Dogs are so popular on Instagram, so that's like,
Yeah. Well, it's funny. His name is Journey. And I had a friend actually recommend the name. I had a Pomeranian that I lost earlier this year, whose name was Juju. And he, when I lost him, I decided I absolutely had to attempt to replace him, right? And so she recommended Journey because it kind of sticks with the J sound. But she also recommended Journey because the last 5 years, anyone who knows me, who may watch or I've been through a massive journey. So it's definitely he would be a really good fit. He would be a really good fit. His little journey self, also known as Little Bunny Fufu.
I love that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Deanna, you're going on a journey of starting a business, and you
Mhm.
want to help other people who are in business, right? With their
Yeah.
numbers,
Yeah.
the journey. That's beautiful to be able to use your dog to talk through that, but then also share your own story, as people can share in your wins and your challenges as you're building
Right.
your business too. So I think that's
Absolutely. Yeah, and that works for me because I'm an open book. I mean, people ask me questions, or do you mind if I ask you this question? Like, ask me whatever you want. I'll tell you straight out. So yeah, that works great for me, and I'll definitely incorporate that. Yes, Journey is an awesome band too. Susanna had asked a few minutes ago, and I think we did cover it. And she said, I guess I kind of got my answer, but what is the one piece of advice you would give to someone who's still in the process of creating it all? And you said, write down your why, basically. Make sure you know what your why is, and that'll help you stay focused on where you're going.
I
Then,
add one more thing too, honestly, is a lot of people jump to brand identity, and that's the logo and maybe a tagline and fonts and colors. I would back it up a minute and really like the why question, but not just what's the one thing you want to be known for, but like, again, go a little bit deeper into the spirit of it, because that is where you'll always come back to, versus your logo can change, your colors can change.
Mhm.
So it's easy to get lost in the identity part, but really trying to
Yes.
through is really going to help.
Awesome. 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 Yes. Core beliefs. Facebook user. Is that Chess? What was the name? Chesade. Is that Chesade that says core beliefs? Okay. Anybody have any other questions we want to ask Dana? We'll wait for a second and see if anybody wants to get any input on anything. Hey, baby girl. So far, no. Hi, Priya. Seen you in a bit. Okay. If anybody wants to have any questions, Dana, are you good? They just put them in the comments for the video that'll post.
Yeah.
And then just pop them over a quick little answer when you get a chance.
Okay. Sounds great.
All right. Girl, I really enjoyed our time. This was awesome. There's my cat, my office cat. I really appreciate you joining us today. It was really great.
Oh,
Good information.
yeah.
And you'll be seeing more of my puppy.
Please. One cat, maybe.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Have a good day. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.